purchased more than 80,000 acres of land previously owned by residents. It also negotiated with the state of Florida for nearly 56,000 more, for a total of almost 140,000 acres. Families packed up their belongings and left the homes and land they'd loved, and over time, the abandoned homes were demolished.
Well, we did come out here one last time, and it was a picture-taking session. I've got pictures of the house and the clearing and the grove and all that stuff, because for us, it was a disappointing time.
It was truly, truly heartbreaking. It affected me from that point on, actually, you know, because of the great memories and the great times that were spent on the land and in the water. And
the older people, it was a real shock. My mother and dad didn't live a year after that happened. Most of them around here at their age didn't. You know, when you're born and raised in a place, you expect to be there. But things don't work that way.
We were the last family to leave was in 1963 when we left. And it was the summer. I had just graduated from the 8th grade when we left. And we really loved it out here. And I felt like crying when we had to leave, you know.
In August 1963, NASA and the Bureau of Sport, Fisheries, and Wildlife worked out a deal establishing the Merritt Island National Wildlife Refuge. The refuge began managing wildlife on about 25,000 acres of NASA property. Later, the agreement was expanded to include all non-operational areas of the Space Center, encompassing 140,000 acres. At the time, Nathaniel Reed was the U.S. Undersecretary of the Department of the Interior.
And I put my hand up and said, hey, we're already there. We have a fantastic relationship with you. Let's consider expanding the National Wildlife Refuge to the borders where you are content to maintain. And the administrator and I sat down, and he passed me a map. I looked at the map and I put my hand across the table and I said, Administrator, from the standpoint of the Assistant Secretary, it's a deal.
In addition to the Wildlife Refuge, in 1975, the stretch of Atlantic Beach to the north of Kennedy Space Center was designated the Canaveral National Seashore, making it a national park. Today, after decades of working side by side, officials with NASA, the Fish and Wildlife Service, and National Park Service still maintain that partnering spirit, proving each day that technology and a healthy environment can coexist in harmony.
This is a 144,000 acre wildlife refuge, and that's way more than we, the NASA Kennedy Space Center, can handle. Having the Fish and Wildlife Service take care of it for us, I mean, that is an outstanding partnership.
Merritt Island National Wildlife Refuge is such a fascinating place because of the multiple ecological systems, from flatwoods, pine woods, the home of really an extraordinary number of scrub jay families, highly endangered. Then you go into hammocks and into saltwater territory. You have the lagoon, which is the winter home of thousands of duck. The uplands, both in the hammocks and basically on the seashore territories, plus the pine woods, are the home of hundreds of thousands of migratory birds.
One bird frequently spotted in the refuge is the majestic bald eagle. There are several active nests in and around Kennedy Space Center, but one in particular has been in use for decades. This large, well-known eyrie is nestled high in a pine tree off a busy roadway at the heart of the spaceport, where tour bus drivers point it out to visitors.
It's been there for 20, 30 years, and very strong, withstood hurricanes. But the eagle, I mean, it's symbolic of what we do. It's symbolic of our nation, the perseverance, strength, beauty of a soaring eagle. That's kind of the Kennedy Space Center.
While delicate ecosystems across Florida have been lost to development, the Merritt Island National Wildlife Refuge has remained a natural oasis, not only for the flora and fauna that call it home, but for the visitors who flock here for birding, boating, photography, or just serenity. And for many of those who left long ago, this is a legacy they're proud to be a part of.
We do like the fact